Ghostbusters, the Frozen Empire is set to thaw on March 24th. You don't have to be a geologist to understand that franchises are kind of like plate tectonics. Over the eons, continents shift. Uganda becomes Denmark. Egypt is now New Jersey.
Everybody else is over. Are you didn't listen?
The wit and chops of the original cast drift towards unappealing, not funny, glib, rancorous characters, plot lines, and even the message. But what does the Frozen Empire have in store? Will it cross the streams? Let's skim through the movie's catalog and see if it tells us anything. Ghostbusters 1984. If you haven't seen the titular Ghostbusters, drop what you're doing and watch it this minute because it's critical to witness the genius that spawned the franchise. Aykroyd, Ramis, and unofficially Rick Moranis wove a scenario elevating this memorable goofball comedy to atmospheric heights, coupled with Ivan Reitman's Midas touch as the director and producer, making this movie a tough act to follow. But Reitman will remain as a producer up until 2021's Afterlife. And yes, he was at the helm of the horrendous Ghostbusters 2016. What elevates the original above the rest is the quality of the script, the jokes, and the chemistry of this dynamic cast.
This reminded me of the time you tried to drill a hole through your head. Remember that?
That would have worked if you hadn't stopped me.
Peter Venkman plays a wry and often likable lech. Ray Stantz and Egon Spengler are two quintessential nerds who realize that they can capture apparitions indefinitely.
Do you have any hobbies?
I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
And they're on the cusp of something huge. That is until Columbia University cuts their funding and tosses them out on their collective asses. Then they make the decision to hang their shingle. Ghostbusters was born at exactly the right time.
We got one!
The setup for this movie is fantastic. Zool's in town and poses a real danger to the city, in addition to drumming up a lot of ghost-busting business. Business is booming so much that they hired Winston Zeddemore to help with the overwhelming demand. William Peck from the EPA comes sniffing around the Ghostbusters headquarters, determined to shut down the operation, citing safety concerns, and in turn puts the entire city in peril with his classic narrow-minded antagonistic motivation. Dana is possessed by Zool, Lewis as well, by Vince Clortho, the Keymaster, and so the epic showdown is set into motion. Destination F***ed is dead ahead. After the mayor pardons the guys, they suit up to thwart Dozer from bringing about Armageddon. By accident, Ray wills the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man to descend upon New York.
Something that could never ever possibly destroy us. Nice thinking, Ray.
Egon deduces that if they cross the streams, they can create a chain reaction, close the Hellmouth, defeating Zool, Gozer, and the Marshmallow Man. All of the ingredients went into this film. Herald Ramis stepped in to rework Aykroyd's original screenplay, and it's rumored that Rick Moranis contributed to the story.
Thank you, Vince.
The original film is brimming with a genius dream team cast.
Everything was fine with our system until the power grid was shut off by Dickless here.
Is this true?
Yes, it's true. This man has no dick.
The chemistry is undeniable and real. This film is one reason why the 1980s was a golden era for American comedy. Ghostbusters 2. The sequel picks up 5 years hence. The Ghostbusters save New York City.
We better split up. Yeah, we can do more damage that way.
But the extensive collateral damage forced Ghostbusters to close shop, and they await trial for the damage caused. Needless to say that their lives now suck. Stans and Zeddemore moonlight as reviled children's entertainers in their jumpsuits and proton packs for kids' birthday parties for chump change.
And it don't look good. Let's go get a beer, all right?
Stans owns an occult bookstore. Egon's day job is tormenting unsuspecting people as participants researching human emotions, and Peter Venkman hosts a niche TV show about psychics. We find now that Dana is a single mother with an infant, Oscar. Oscar is whisked away into rush hour traffic by an unseen force. Right away, the jeopardy is afoot, and that familiar malevolence returns. Dana contacts Stan about her suspicion of paranormal activity. He and Egon pay her a visit, and everyone's suspicions are confirmed. Peter, of course, exploits the opportunity to get with Dana after their breakup 5 years past. Meanwhile, below the city streets...
Hey, what did I say? How many... Hey, you're not with Con Ed or the phone company. We checked.
I got a major gas leak here. Where do you think all this is coming from? The sky?
They discover a river of pink slime that feeds on ill tidings, and New York is a veritable buffet of negative emotions. So Vigo, the Carpathian, wants to possess baby Oscar, free himself from the painting, and rule the world. New York is overrun by evil spirits.
Okay, but I didn't know you had your license.
The mayor demands that the Ghostbusters be released from the mental institution and get back at Bat. It's New Year's Eve, and the guys use the pink slime to animate the Statue of Liberty to bring outbursts of cheer and optimism.
We gotta squeeze some New Year's juice from you. you big apple!
And these good vibes weaken Virgo, returning him back into the supernatural void. I think that the second installment acts as a decent sequel. It received bad press, which I think was undeserving. Give some love to the last real Ghostbusters movie because the next one took a gigantic squad over the first two movies. Ghostbusters 2016. Just as Will Smith all over Isaac Asimov's grave and the stillbirth that was I, Robot, 2016 one-ups this by leaving a grisly upper decker in the throne of the Aykroyd, Ramis, and Moranis 80s classic. I viewed this without much expectation, and I can confidently report that I wasn't disappointed.
Dang it. Who even cares about this stupid show?
Which is too bad. I really like some of the actors in this paranormal gender hustle woke loaf. Like Kristen Wiig, Ed Begley Jr., Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, of course, and Zach Woods. The rest of the cast, well, they can because Ghostbusters 2016 was another woke attempt at besmirching the classic film
Dogs and cats living together
under the banner of the new feminist agenda. Men are stupid, evidently, given Chris Hemsworth's mentally stunted character. But if they hadn't decided to ride in the coattails of Ghostbusters and instead come up with something new, funny, original, and fresh, maybe this cast would work. And maybe this film would work. All in all, Ghostbusters 2016 is an attempt to cash in with a flabby and lazy script by hijacking the work of its predecessors and crashing into the side of a mountain. There is absolutely no jeopardy and no stakes in this movie. So why would we give a about the cardboard characters and the challenges that they face? There's no reason for this film to exist.
He slimed me.
The funniest scene is with Dan Aykroyd in a cameo.
Chinatown. Nah, that's like one more block south than I want to go.
Sir, those are actual ghosts flying around.
Look, I don't go to Chinatown, I don't drive Wacos, and I didn't bring no ghosts.
And the one with Bill Murray are the only two times I actually laughed throughout this movie. It's deplorable. It's devoid of humor. It's supposed to be a comedy. Jesus, I was expecting the main cast to mug the camera every time they didn't land a joke, which is the entire movie. I didn't even laugh when Slimer was reintroduced.
Why? Why is this happening to me? Why?
What in the f*** is up with Kate McKinnon's character? Jesus, dial it back, sister. And another staggering achievement of this movie is that it tortured us with one of the cringiest poser metal concert scenes I've ever seen in my life.
Sharon, I think I'm having another flashback.
And I should know because I was actually in Hysteria, the Def Leppard story, for a nanosecond. In all seriousness, GB 2016 me off for countless reasons, but perhaps the most egregious is the crime of appropriating the classics and turn around to slap the audience in the face with a flaccid, unfunny, rancorous piece of garbage. Just come up with a new premise and check your diversity boxes with that, because as we can see, it's working really well for you. Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'll keep an open mind about this one. It won't measure up to the originals. So far, the visual style of Afterlife reminds me of Spielberg's Super 8 with a touch of Stranger Things. Not too bad for the visuals. I was surprised that Egon's memory was honored in this film. In the opening scenes, Egon attempts to lure a specter into his trap, and as a result, he dies of a massive heart attack. Clearly, they used a double for Herald Ramis, who passed away in 2014. But at least they acknowledged a character from their past. Phoebe's seismology teacher, Gary Guberson, educates her and her buddy Podcast about her grandfather's past as a Ghostbuster. Phoebe discovers Egon's farmhouse as a poltergeist, and in turn leads her to a ghost trap. Guberman, Phoebe, and Podcast tamper with Pandora's box, and inadvertently freeing one of Gozer the Gavorian Sentinels. And that's gonna come back and bite them in the ass later. Guberman brings Phoebe back to the farmhouse along with Podcast, where he meets Phoebe's mom. And it's clear that he's got the hots for her. The poltergeist, who I'm guessing is Egon's spirit, leads Phoebe to the basement and to a lab. He tutors them on how to use the proton packs, and they get to test it out on who I suppose is a relative of Slimer. Meanwhile, Trevor's compelled by his libido to chase after Lucky Domingo, the car hop waitress. They're on a group outing at the demonic mine on the outskirts of town when the evil spirit erupts from the mine. He also discovers Ecto-1. He and the other kids chase down a ghost through town, causing all sorts of damage. They're arrested, Ecto-1 and the gear are impounded. Phoebe makes her one phone call from the police station, and guess who she calls? Ray Stantz answers the old Ghostbuster line, and she informs him about Egon's death. Gary and Callie are possessed by Zool as he attempts to open the Hellmouth. Phoebe and the kids discover that Egon's property isn't for farming, but rather a trap for the evil desiring to reprise its plan of domination and destruction. Pretty much the same happens as Carrie and Gary are transformed into hellhounds, and the omnipotent new wave chick is resurrected, whom they capture, and then they hightail it back to the farmstead where the epic battle will take place. Just as things seem lost, Ray, Peter, and Winston come out of retirement to cross the streams for one last time. All in all, Afterlife isn't horrible. It's a decent palate cleanser to remove the aftertaste of GB 2016. Ghostbusters, The Frozen Empire. The trailer has been released, creating a decent amount of stir in anticipation for the spring 2024 release. Many, including myself, are happy to see it set back in New York City. As I mentioned previously, Ray, Peter, and Winston return, as does the cast from Afterlife, with some new additions. Patton Oswalt narrates the trailer in addition to playing what looks like a scientist, but I never really thought he was that funny. Do you know who should be in this thing? Maria Bamford. She's built for comedy with her kooky, manic delivery. The city's frozen and millions of New Yorkers freeze to death as a horned beast, the latest nemesis, prepares for his date with destiny. With this limited view, the Frozen Empire could turn out to be a fun addition to the franchise. My guess is that it won't be strictly an action comedy, and if so, it'll pale to 1 and 2. And if I were to wager a bet, the movie would probably be on par with Afterlife. My hope is that the original cast will get more screen time than they did in the previous movie. So what's your take on the new trailer? Will it be a leaking grab bag of Ghostbuster tropes, or could the Frozen Empire usher in a new era of supernatural fun? Leave your comments below, and please don't forget to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.
We're ready to believe you.